Hey everyone, Duke here, and today we're talking about how to farm Legendary Shards, Glimmer, and Enhancement Cores in Lightfall. With the changes to focusing and crafting this season, these three materials have never been more important, so now is an outstanding time to think about how to farm all of them. Let's start with Glimmer. Heroic Public events recently got a huge buff to their Glimmer gains, and now grant 12,500 Glimmer from the chest completion reward at the end. Pair this with the Glimmer you get just from defeating enemies during the public event for extremely quick farming. Not only that, but our Ghost has a set of Glimmer mods which allows for up to a 65% increase to Glimmer that you receive, which can be a huge boon to quickly recoup Glimmer after use, especially due to the 250,000 Glimmer cap on Glimmer storage. Do note that if you're ever at Glimmer cap and want an easy way to store more, you can buy Other Side Sparrows or Zavala's Authority ships to store in your vault. These cost 7,500 Glimmer each and 5 Legendary Shards each, and will give you 5,000 Glimmer and 5 Legendary Shards back when you dismantle them. This is a net loss, of course, but allows you to use some of your vault space for quick access Glimmer, and is something I've done for years now. That being said, Rahul in the Tower now also has multiple ways to directly buy Glimmer from, assuming you have the extra materials to do so, and with vault space at a premium for many players, may be an even better way to hoard extra Glimmer. Excess Legendary Shards, Dark Fragments, Phantasmal Fragments, and Here Always pieces can be spent here to acquire instant Glimmer. Also note that if you're like me and still have huge stacks of Sunset Planetary materials, Rahul's final page still allows you to use these for Glimmer as well. I'm sure you have a bunch of Rainmaker consumables as well. This will last for 4 hours, and any precision kills you get during this 4 hours will have a chance to create a shower of Glimmer, so doing pretty much anything in the game, if you pop one of these, that's going to allow you to get extra Glimmer as well. And finally, there's a few weekly bounties from the Cosmodrome that can be completed for extra Glimmer as well. Next, let's talk Legendary Shards. Before doing too much with Legendary Shards, I'd recommend getting to level 20 on the Season Pass, as this will give you an additional Legendary Shard whenever you dismantle Legendary or Exotic gear. Speaking of the Battle Pass, there is a total of 250 Legendary Shards, all in the first half of the pass, which can help you get started a bit. One of, if not the absolute best activities to farm for Legendary Shards is Dares of Eternity. You will get a number of Legendary drops from the final chest, along with potential Legendary drops from enemies throughout. And not only that, but if you're lucky enough to get a Lightning Round, you can get up to 3 extra chests at the end that will be filled with more Legendary drops. And even on top of that, you can complete some of the Star Horse bounties to get Paraversal Halls, which will give additional gear as well as extra treasure keys, which can all be used in Xur's Treasure Hoard to open the chest there for their weapons that you either want to keep or potentially break down for even more Legendary Shards. Strikes, Gambit, and Crucible are our core activities that most people will be playing anyway for Pinnacles, seasonal challenges, and more, and also give a good number of Legendary drops and shards directly. One note to make use of when playing these activities is that the Prosperity Ghost mods exist, which give you a chance to get additional Legendary drops from these activities. Whenever double Reputation or double Nightfall loot is active during a given week, these become even better, as you can rank through their respective vendors faster and get the additional rewards and engrams from them as you level up through the Reputation tracks. The new Terminal Overload event is also a great way to get Legendary Shards, more so if you have the Terminal Overload key, which allows you to open up the second chest, and even more so if you take advantage of the multiple chest opening strategy that I outlined in one of my previous videos, which will be linked below. The new Defiant Battlegrounds for this season is also a solid way to farm Legendary Shards, as you can get Legendary drops throughout and from the final chest. I would recommend having a Defiant key when farming this. You can hold up to 5 of these, and they seem to drop from pretty much anything in the game and pretty frequently, as this will give you an additional gear drop as well as potentially multiple extra Defiant engrams, which can be then taken to the war table for even more Legendary drops. Another big thing to consider is upgrade modules. These cost 10 Legendary Shards each, as well as 5,000 Glimmer and an Enhancement Core, and can easily run you dry of Legendary Shards if you're infusing each and every single higher drop that you get across all characters as you're leveling up. Instead, just keep your highest drop in each slot, and then only infuse when you're doing some super higher level activities where you're going to be really underleveled for that truly need this higher level, and this is a much more efficient and Legendary Shard saving strategy to make use of. Do note that this makes the Legendary campaign a really great way to technically farm Legendary Shards, as you get a crazy amount of upgrade modules from it, as well as some Legendary drops, which in turn can save you hundreds of Legendary Shards, and probably over 1,000 total Legendary Shards across all 3 characters, with all the upgrade modules you will be getting. The Battle Pass also has a number of upgrade modules, as well as various vendors, and there's also a Ghost mod that allows for the chance of upgrade modules as well. And finally, we have the Transmat strategy. This used to be done at Amanda Holiday, but since she's been moved for seasonal story reasons, this is now done at Rahul. What you're going to need to do is buy any blue Transmat effect from your collections, and every 3 that you buy will cost a total of 3,000 Glimmer. But then you can take these to Rahul, convert them to a random legendary effect, and then dismantling this legendary Transmat will give you 1 legendary shard and 150 Glimmer back for each one that you do. This is one of the absolute easiest ways to farm Legendary Shards just through Glimmer, but admittedly is not the most interesting or fun, and also won't multitask anything through actually playing the game, but is definitely worth considering and at least knowing exists. And lastly, we have Enhancement Cores. Banshee bounties are going to be your most straightforward and consistent way to farm these, with a number of bounties that you can do each day on every character. As with Glimmer and Legendary Shards, there is a ghost mod called Lesser Core Harvest, which can help acquire more cores in Strikes, Gambit, and Crucible activities. You will also get a number of cores from various vendor ranks, as well as potentially getting an extra core with each engram that you pull from these vendors. If you're in a clan, rank 4 of the clan perks will give additional enhancement cores when completing clan vendor bounties from Hawthorne. Nightfalls can be a nice way to get enhancement cores and prisms, which can be used for more cores, as we'll explain in just a second, as well as exotics and even ascendant shards as some of the highest level Nightfalls. You can also buy up to 5 enhancement cores each day from Rahul for 30 legendary shards each, but honestly this is quite expensive and I'd pretty much never recommend doing this unless you just need like 1 core and you just really don't want to have to do anything else. Pretty much the only time I'd ever recommend that. And don't forget about using your finest matter weaves, as these will turn into 1 enhancement core each. Do note that the effect will last until you get your enhancement core, and you can only pop 1 of these at a time. One of the best ways to get enhancement cores is by using excess enhancement prisms. As enhancement prisms cap at 50, and enhancement cores have no cap, extra prisms that we would get can end up being wasted. Instead, there's a strategy to convert prisms to cores at a low cost. First, you're going to want to buy a piece of blue armor from collections. Then, upgrade the armor to 8 energy by using 3 total cores and 1 enhancement prism. After this, dismantling it once it's at level 8 will then give you 6 cores in return, effectively turning 1 prism and a bit of glimmer and legendary shards into 3 extra enhancement cores. I hope this video guide on 3 of the most important materials for Lightfall helps you get what you need in order to focus and craft the weapons that you are looking for. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.